Poems could be about a flower, about a lover, about a person, about a cup of coffee, but you went into the soul. It's like if you have the material, non-specific topic that you can talk about it and make a 8-line poem about the soul and actually give a definition about it. Found that like you have a really interesting way to abstract your thoughts and put them together.
My soul is real if winds could move mountains. I am moved by the wind which was a tree, growing into a forest, and the wind has stopped blowing to grow into the sea. My soul finds home wherever the wind rests. Whatever the wind grows to be is me. Breathing and living for 1,000 years, I am the wind whenever I'm free.
Infinity going into my brain, like that life never ends, that's not limited by time.
Having this feeling of freedom, which you're not consciously always aware about.
Freedom is so airy, so light. I feel free, very free. I feel like the wind blowing in the skies, and I feel like my wings have opened and I can do whatever I want.
I feel liberated,
moved.
Makes me calm.
My soul is real if winds could move mountains. I am moved by the wind, which was a tree, growing into a forest, and the wind has stopped blowing to grow into the sea. My soul finds home wherever the wind rests. Whatever the wind grows to be is me. Breathing and living for 1,000 years, I am the wind whenever I am free.
This somehow really moves me in a way, profound way that I couldn't necessarily explain, but it makes me smile because there's something so real about it, no? This and the wind has stopped blowing to grow into the sea. It that speaks to me in a very strange way, because when you're growing up, it's like a forest, no? It's like a tree, and you nurture it, and then at some point, your life sort of opens into a sea.
Taoism, you can really relate to anybody if you find a way to relate. Like everyone's
the same.
Right, everyone is the same. Not that everyone is the same, but you can be different and still unite in one type of way. Right, like everyone's aura.
My mother was always struck by how wherever I was, there was water, and I always loved playing with water. That was my happy place, water. She also introduced this thought of Taoism and the element of water in life. Whenever I'm worried or I'm a bit of problem and I speak to her, she always says, be like water. If there is a rock, first the water builds up, but then it moves around the rock and it flows. So that's something that's, like I said, this poem is me.
You have the protagonist, and then you have the wind as this one aspect, and they are uniting.
Describe the movement of the wind when you kind of question it as, so I think it's quite beautiful in that sense, where you can connect yourself and nature in a sense of spirituality as well.
One that got most stuck in my head, like breathing and living for 1,000 years, I'm the wind whenever I'm free.
Breathing takes you to your center, to your core, anchors you into the present, which is actually where the soul is, in the realization that you are here and now.
It has very much to do with nature, like the mountains, the forest, the sea, the wind. The wind is like always there, it's all combined to the souls. Nature is the theme, and soul fits into the nature.
People who reflect themselves in nature tend to be more quiet people, or more reflective people, I would say.
The imagery of the winds moving through the mountains, and it goes from very far away. You have this image of the wind blowing through the mountains, and it sort of zooms into the mountains belonging to trees. And then from the trees, it's a sudden stop, and you really also stop with it when you say, and the wind has stopped blowing, and you're like, whoa, what now? And then it opens up into a sea. It's almost, so there's like a cliffhanger that goes into, and for some people it can really also be quite discerning, because the sea is somewhere where you don't really have bearings, you don't have a location. Mountain you somehow do still. So, and this thing here, that my soul finds home wherever the wind rests, is telling, because the soul never really then rests, right? Because the wind just travels. and that's like a floating person, and I think that's growth and just living.
And the wind has stopped blowing to grow into the sea. I think there's always wind at the sea. That's deep, right?
Whatever the wind grows to be is me. I really, really, really like resonate with that line. I feel like it brings the whole poem together. It shows how like versatile one can be, how free one can be, and it just moves every part of me where I can be anything I really want to be. You can find rest even when you're not home. It's okay. Even when you're far away from home, you can still find these rests because your soul is peaceful or your surroundings are peaceful.
Say your soul rests in peace.
I am the wind whenever I'm free.
I think so too. I feel like that just literally hits the nail on the head. That's just
Striking ending.
First of all, poetry is not something that many people, I find, do anyway, you know, and to convey such, for me especially, such a moving concept is really like someone who knows what it's like to build a life and to step back and say, okay, it's like Lego, where you build things and then at some point you stand back and you're like, whoa, I've built something.
hidden truths. My soul is real if winds could move mountains. I am moved by wind which was a tree, growing into a forest, and the wind has stopped blowing to grow into the sea. My soul finds home wherever the wind rests. Whatever the wind grows to be is me, breathing and living for 1,000 years. I am the wind whenever I am free.
If I would write a poem about myself, my first sentence would start as, my soul is energetic or colorful.
Calm and at peace.
My soul is sensitive. My soul is unique.
Unique.
My soul is artistic.
My soul is happy.
My soul is the laughter of children.
Infinite.
Infinite.
My soul is striving.
My soul is lost. Lost in the way that it's a very vast world, I believe, no? And this thing about the wind resonates with me because it says traveling, the concept of traveling. And in some ways it's still searching. And I don't know, like I said, the water feels very close to my life. And in water you're somehow always lost. You're always looking for one island to the next, to the next.
My soul is present. My soul is there. My soul is always with me. My soul exists. My soul...
I'm not sure if my soul is real.
I don't believe in the concept of soul because I'm not religious, and I think if you die, there is no soul. Does it make sense for you?
The person is giving his back to you. So he's like headed towards a dark space, but that dark space doesn't have to be like a bad place. It can be anywhere. It's wherever he imagines it to be. So relating to like the wind where it takes you, it could take him
Like lifting out of a body, out of somebody living. That's just like a naked male who's literally a white silhouette, which really literally looks like an interpretation of a soul.
Dissolving into that concept, of that movement. The person is solid, so that's the solid state of being, but then it's this flux that you're in, and the fact that it's black and white also really has this, it leaves a lot for the imagination, and that is filled by the poetry then.
It's dark, lonely, it's contrasting.
The contrast in the image, this glowing effect in this image.
Body looks transparent, so you can see through the body.
I like the negative. Reminds about the nature of the light.
Putting yourself out there, like trying to put something intimate outside.
And I think you have a great body based on this image. Maybe we can go to Berghain when this whole thing is over.
There's a lot of visual emotion. Those images are very powerful because
Images or metaphors.
Super deep and metaphoric.
This A, B, 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 C, like this rhyme system.
I think if you just read it one time, you're like, using nice words, sounding good, but you don't get to the bottom of it immediately.
I feel like I just had to read it a few times just to try to make it clear in my head, so technically I don't know if I will understand it ever.
Once you have understood it, it's really easy or nice. Yeah.